You know, when I've talked about this, I get very emotional, and so does your mother. It's a hard thing to talk about. And a lot of times, especially during church talks, when I talk about this, I relate it to gospel subjects because it actually ties into things that are truly important, and that's your family. Sometimes we forget that. And this is a time when Joe was about 2 years old. We had 3 children at the time, and we're out of the country and in the area of Tijuana that Cindy had family in. Her aunt and uncle, we went down with her mom and dad, and during this time, we were going to go shopping like a lot of people do. We were pre-warned about child abductions, and they really emphasized it. Mom, I guess she had actually heard about it on the news. Of course, she speaks Spanish, and I speak pretty Latin. I don't really understand, but the people that we were staying with, they really told us to be careful if we were going to be out in town, especially the area that we were in. And so, that being said, Joe was our youngest at the time, and so the whole time we were in the city, it wasn't real crowded, but I had Joe in my arms and, on my shoulders, and never let him go, not even for a moment. You can imagine, someone telling you that someone's going to steal your kids or possibly could, how you might feel about even shopping. I had reservations about that. And so, Mom was helping with Frankie and Danielle, who are a little older than Joe, and as we're walking down these blocks, Frankie was 5 years old, and we thought we'd stop in this little store that sold watches. That's all they sold. It was probably the size of a bathroom. It was that small, and you think for this whole time, I kept Joe in my arms. I was so worried about him, because he was about 2 at the time, and I didn't want anybody to take him, and well, at least not at that moment. Wait till he's a teenager. And so we stopped at this little store to pick out a watch, and it only took a few moments, and I didn't even realize I let go of his hand. I didn't even think twice about it. The transaction only took a few moments. And we're gathering up the family, and we noticed that Joseph was gone. It's like, oh my gosh, Joseph was one of those like stuffed shirts, and that was kind of like what he wanted to do. He was that age. And these were pretty long blocks, and it wasn't real busy. And we went out right away and looked up one end and down the other. Joe was not there. And you can imagine what Cindy was going through at the time. She has a hard time even talking about it. And Cindy's mom and dad, they were frantic as well. Now you think for a moment, all the things that may happen in your life, the financial worries that you might have, your investments, your work. I mean, there could be a million different things that you're so concerned about. And like us, we're a young couple. There were plenty of things that we were concerned about in our life. But I can tell you at that moment, there was nothing in our life that was more important than trying to find him. Cindy talks about it too. We'd give up anything to get your child back. What wouldn't you give up? And, I don't care if you believe in God or not, I think you probably consider the possibilities and start negotiating. And I can tell you that all of us started praying in our minds, please, let us find him. Let us find him. And that's all that's going through your mind. And it's hard to explain. You would rather, if something was going to happen to your child, you would rather have it happen right there in front of you. Not that you'd ever want that to happen, but then have someone take your child, and never know what happened to them. It's just overwhelming. And I can tell you, we started, splitting up to look for Joseph and going from store to store. And I saw a policeman down the street, and I ran down to the policeman. And in fact, he was arresting somebody at the time. I told him what was going on. And he didn't speak English, fascinating enough. And he throws this guy in the back of his car and starts radioing and about, I assume it was about Joseph, And so we had police coming to help, during this process. And I can tell you that you give up everything to get your child back. There's nothing more important than that. And at that time, we're praying. I know Cindy's mom was with her, and I guess it was a policeman, and that they were talking with, and they were describing what the little, Joseph looked like, a little boy about this tall, and he's got brown eyes and blonde hair, and he's light colored, and I guess there were several people. One of the storekeepers, as far as I know, it was the one that grabbed one of their arms and said, "I'm sorry, but you're probably not going to find him." And they broke down.
I think what happened too was, the commotion was outside, they were like running into stores and asking everyone about this little blonde boy. And everybody kept coming to me and saying in Spanish, it was all in Spanish, was, oh, I'm so sorry. And I thought, you're not gonna, he's gone. Just kind of face that reality that he's gone. He's blonde, he's gone. There's no way a little boy could have gone out of that room, that store, and down the block, long block, in a matter of those seconds. There's just no way. But everybody was looking for him. It was very frantic, but...
Well, he was a cute kid, so I think even if he wasn't blonde, they still would have taken him. Yeah.
And I was pregnant, and they were worried that I was very emotional, very, very distraught. And they were giving me sugar and to try to calm me down because they were afraid I was going to lose the baby right there. But it's very vague for me. It was just traumatic.
So time passes quickly, and I've talked about this a lot of times with people to hopefully help people realize just truly what true wealth is, and it's not money. It's your health and it's your family. You know, that's what true wealth is. And I can tell you that we were praying like crazy. And you think for a moment, what comes over you? It's panic. It's gut-wrenching terror. That's the only way I could describe it. You feel like throwing up. You know, you think about the possibility that you're not going to get your child back.
And they started looking.
It's just horrible feeling.
They said, the police looked and they just said, I'm sorry, he's gone here. And that was it. It was finished.
Well, I can tell you.
I remember when I say commotion, it was so heart-wrenching, but I remember women coming up to me from the different stores that they were selling and trying to call me. I remember looking up and seeing them looking in the other little stores for Joseph. And then two ladies would come out and they're in the street yelling at the lady across the street if they see a little boy. So people started coming out of their stores looking for this little boy. The police were talking to everybody, and to what I remember, like going from store to store, and just people were out there looking for him in and out of the stores. Have you seen him? No. Who are you looking for? And it was just...
I don't know how many police were involved, but they were talking over the radio. So I don't know how many police were involved. And I can tell you at the time, it's almost like a blur, so I don't remember just how many people were trying to help. I know that we were very vocal about trying to find him. And like Mom said, where she was, there were other people trying to help find him as well. And so
a lot of ladies like crying in the street with me and hugging me, but it was a long walk. And
they were long blocks, and it wasn't like there was a lot of people there. But you know, so you could see pretty well up and down, and he wasn't anywhere to be found. We were thinking maybe he went in one of the little stores, you know, that was there, which wasn't the case. I can tell you that I don't know what it was, whether it was 45 minutes or an hour. It seemed like an eternity. It definitely was a period of time. I can tell you that you feel sick. You know, you just feel sick. There's no other way to describe it. You know, and then all of a sudden, because you're praying in your mind, you're looking everywhere, this young girl, maybe in her 20s, dark hair, she comes around the corner of one of the blocks, and she's got a bouquet of flowers, and she's holding Joseph up in her arms. And it was like a miracle. From my recollection, it's been a lot of years now, but my recollection, it was like, it could have been like a mile away. I mean, time had really passed. And I do believe that he was taken. There's no way for the short time that we were in that store and the length of these blocks that when we came out that he was just gone. He's a 2-year-old. And she came around the corner. She had him in her arms, and she said she found him a ways away, and that's why I'm thinking it was like a mile away. She picked him up on the corner, and he was standing there, and she just started walking. And she had this bouquet of flowers. That's all I remember seeing come around the corner. She was American. And she came around the corner with him in her arms, and when she picked him up, she could have walked any direction. Any direction. She could have called the police. She didn't. She just started walking. And she walked around the corner with Joseph. And I remember running up and getting him I don't remember any of the details after that. And I don't even know what happened to the girl. My mom could probably talk more about that. It was like she was just gone.
I never saw her. I saw Frank with the baby, with Joe. But I do remember the police were surprised and shocked because they had been trying to reassure me and calm me, saying, he's gone, kind of face it. He was done looking, he didn't know what to do. And all I remember was when they brought Joseph back, everybody was shocked that we had him back. That this American girl, in not a very good part of where we're at shopping, there was no Americans there.
Nobody else with her.
No Americans there.
And she picks up this little boy and starts walking.
The police had no idea who she was. She was just gone. She was just gone.
Yeah.
Nobody had her name, nothing. Nobody knew who she was.
She just gave me a little bit of the details.
We looked for her, couldn't find her.
I got Joseph, and so was she an angel?
We think she was. We know she was. I think the police were surprised
Because
too.
the police may have. Why didn't they see her walking down the street with this
She was just
little
there.
light-haired kid? And
Nobody will ever in my life convince me otherwise, or that I made a mistake.
and then she was just gone. And
It was an angel that brought Joe back, because, like the police said, there was nobody there. There was no tourists. There was nobody there, and she had flowers in her hand.
my recollection at the time, that's why there was no way that the little boy could have got that distance in that period of time, from the time that she found him. The amazing part was that she just picked him up, didn't call the police, nothing, just started walking, and she walked directly to us.
And the police gave us the impression, when we talked to them, that it was a miracle. It was a miracle. They were shocked.
So as you start to put everything together, there's no way that Joe could have made it that distance on his own. Like I said, 45 minutes to an hour seems like an eternity. This woman comes around, good-looking young lady, and she's got this little boy in her arms who's calm. Joe isn't crying. She's got flowers in her arms. What made her pick him up? What made her go that direction? I mean, it's like she knew where to go. We were praying. I mean, you can only imagine. We were praying and praying, and as an answer to prayers, it is our feeling that she was an angel. She knew when she got him. She knew where to go. She knew where to bring him. Joseph was calm when he had her, and Joseph wasn't that type of a boy to go with strangers, period. And so, I don't know the details on how Joe got to where he was. It is my belief that someone had taken him, and why they left him. I can probably guess why they left him, but in reality, why they left him, I have no idea, other than maybe because our Heavenly Father answering our prayers. And this woman, who we consider to be an angel, knew exactly where to bring him, knew we had been praying for him. Like I said, she could have walked a million different directions. If it happened just to be a stranger picking up a little boy, she probably would have called the police, like I said. She didn't. And picking up this little boy and walking straight to us.
With flowers.
And then afterwards,
with flowers.
We don't know where she is. And these are long blocks. She's just like gone. So, yeah.
Nobody got her name.
You tell me.
She was gone.
It was an answer to prayers. Our Heavenly Father heard our prayers. And
for
here
her.
we have, this little boy, that was found quite a ways away. And this woman brought him straight to us. And not knowing, we believe that she knew where she was going.
Just to add that this was so traumatic and emotional. This is the first time I've been able to talk about it after all these years. And I have never come back to Mexico, to this place, to Tijuana, because it holds nothing but terrible memories and the awful feeling and knowing he was taken there. And so I talk about this, and I have never come back to Mexico because of this.
And you think, Heavenly Father intervened. He answered our prayers. Joseph, 40 years old, with 5 children, serving a mission in Brazil, baptizing numerous people, bringing them to the gospel. Heavenly Father had a plan for him, but also had a plan for us. And it was one of those times where we had, I guess, an opportunity to feel what it would be like to lose someone, especially someone so close, a child. And then that would bring us to our knees, to pray for him to come back. And then to believe an angel had intervened and brought our little boy back to us. We believe our Heavenly Father had his hand in all of it.
And that Joe has had a special mission that he had to fulfill. And we're just glad that we were part of that.